Information is not enough. I'm Dr. Carol. Thank you for joining me. This is part 2 of a 2-part conversation where I am sharing my heart with you about things I have experienced and learned in my own study and own life, but even more, what God has been doing in Dr. Carol Ministries and just some exciting things about the future. If you did not listen to or watch part 1, I'd suggest that you stop this and go back and listen or watch that part 1 first. There I shared with you why information is not enough in changing some of the deep places where human beings are struggling in the church and in culture. I shared with you some statistics about the state of sexuality in Christians and relationships, and it's not pretty. I shared with you some neurobiology about how and why just more information doesn't get to the deeper layers in our being, and why we need connection and experiences. What changes the right brain, or we could say in many ways the heart part, the under the surface, the emotional control master switch of our system, what changes that is not information. What changes that deeper part of us as human beings is connection and experiences. Deep connection with Jesus and connection with other human beings. Everything we are doing here at Dr. Carol Ministries is designed for that. Now, certainly there's information involved in what we do. But as I unpacked in part 1 of this conversation, information by itself is not very effective or efficient in helping people experience transformation. So everything we are doing is trying to help people find the ways to connect with God and with others. We have been doing this for a while now, and I want to give you a little behind-the-scenes look at some of the things we have been doing and some open doors, some opportunities that you may be very, I believe, excited and potentially want to join us in being a part of these experiences. And I'll talk with you about that here in part 2 today. So as we have been working on the material already, I mean, just even the podcasts and the articles and just everything we are doing, it's not primarily about telling people what's right or wrong. Yes, behaviors have consequences, but this is helping people wrestle with the deeper matters of the heart. There are several streams that come together here that are important for people to tap into in cooperating with God to experience the transformation that Jesus has to bring. He has a goal for each one of us to become a whole, to become fully alive, to become like His Son Jesus. And these streams come together in what we are addressing to help people do that. There is the stream of mental health. That's a big deal in our world today. I mentioned to you as we closed our part 1 conversation that the epidemic of loneliness and all other kinds of mental health challenges, this brings that together. It brings in the stream of neurobiology. We today understand so much more about how our internal systems work. And I have found over and over again that when I help someone understand a bit about what's going on, the left brain, right brain difference, for example, and why just more information is not helping them change, just understanding some of those neurobiology factors really is encouraging, and it helps people understand what may be going on and where to invest their efforts. So it brings in that stream. In the scientific doctor part of me particularly enjoys that, of course. This brings in the stream of spiritual warfare. Because when we talk about people experiencing transformation, and especially when we talk about intimacy, sexuality, and relationships, the opposition from the kingdom of darkness is strong. And addressing the spiritual warfare aspects of this is real. The journey to wholeness, and especially the journey to sexual wholeness, will be opposed by the kingdom of darkness. But we need have no fear. Spoiler alert, Jesus wins, and helping people experience that. And of course, the sexuality, intimacy and relationships part of this, it's such a hot topic in culture, in the church, and it is a really, really big deal in God's heart. And so bringing all those streams together. Dr. Carol Ministries has been helping people in some of these areas for some years now. And God has allowed us and blessed us with a reach that when I think about it, I can only say thank you, Lord. We do this one-on-one and in groups, large and small. Over 40,000 people come to some of our resources in some way every month. 40,000 people every month. And that's from around the world, over 180 countries. Over 180 countries are represented by the people that God somehow brings to some of our resources in some way. You know, from Azerbaijan to Zimbabwe, people literally from around the world. Thousands of people download the podcast every month. Many people we offer direct counsel to. That's a significant part of what I do in my day-to-day work. 13,000 people hear from us by email every week. So God has blessed us in having those opportunities to make an impact. And we are incredibly grateful. I just want to share with you a couple brief notes from people that have been impacted by what God has allowed us to do. This is Mike. And Mike wrote, "Your email devotional series has been a large part of my sobriety. I've been passing this on to each new person who joins our men's group. And now one of these new guys is posting it daily in our group text. Your ministry is making our whole group stronger." Mike had gone through our 30 Days Toward Sexual Wholeness email devotional series, shared it with other guys, and now the other guys are sharing it, in their group. Just one way that God has allowed our material to make a difference. Here's Margie. She said, "Yesterday I sent one of your messages to my friend. She took it to heart, signed up for your devotional series. I donated to your ministry because I so wanted to bless you for blessing me so many times. And now another person who subsequently shared it with another. Thank you, Lord." Again, passing on the blessings. And that just so warms my heart when somebody receives something from the Lord through what we are able to provide and then passes it on. Just one more. This is from Scott. He said, "If it wasn't for your material, our 37 years of marriage would be down the drain. It's been a lifeline to us." Well, there are many others, but I'll stop there. I just wanted to give you just a very brief snapshot of some ways that people have been helped. As wonderful as articles, books, podcasts, our website, emails, as wonderful as those things are, there also are some limitations. And I have felt that quite strongly in my soul. Certainly when I have opportunity to interact with people one-on-one, I sense that reaches something more, or even in small groups. And so how can we make those experiences more available, more possible for people to access? And that is the next step that I know God is opening doors for us at Dr. Carol Ministries to do. And we have already started this. And I just want to take a couple minutes to share this with you because it is so incredibly exciting. Remember how I told you that the right brain, the heart part, the emotional part of us changes with connections and experiences? Well, we have begun weekend intensive / retreat. I think it's more the intensive kind of work, where a group of people gathers for a weekend to allow Jesus to come into their story. We have started doing this for women. It's available for couples. I think, we're going to be doing this for men too. We've started for women a weekend experience where people are given opportunity to address their story, to open the parts of their story that maybe they haven't talked about. I recently did this with a group of women over a weekend, and there were some of these women who said, I shared things that weekend that I had never spoken to anyone else. This was a safe place where they could bring those tender places of their story and have it received with generosity, with kindness, with honesty and compassion. Dealing perhaps with some of the hardest parts of story, trauma, sexual harm, how we reacted to the harm and trauma we experienced, perhaps the ways we sexually acted out in trying to get some of the needs met, the mental health, the relationship, the marriage or lack thereof, just all of those, the spiritual warfare aspects. Bringing those together for a weekend experience. It, in some ways, was a bit intense, and that's good. It needs to be when we get to some of these hard areas. We recently did this just last month, and it was an amazing time for the people involved, and I have had many others already asking for this, and we are scheduling more. I was just talking with a lady just today, and coming to our next one, she says, I want to bring my friend. Can I bring my friend? We're going to do this. People need help to get to these deeper matters of the heart and experience Jesus coming in. This isn't primarily a teaching time. This is primarily an experiential time. And we have created experiences where the individuals can just see Jesus coming into the very places where they need change, healing, hope, transformation in a safe experience with a few others. Beautiful. Well, there's a couple ways that I think you may be interested in being a part of this. First, if you are interested in one of these weekend intensives, let me know. Maybe you are a Christian leader and you would like to facilitate one of these with a group of people in your setting. Maybe you're an individual who is struggling hard with some of these matters in your heart, and you would want to come and be part of one of our weekend intensives. Reach out, let me know. Use the contact page on our website. And here's one more way. Many of those individuals who most need this kind of healing, transformative experience can afford it least. We want to make this experience available to people at a very low cost. And I am also coming to you to ask for your help financially. Some of you listening or watching right now, God has blessed with some finances, and you can support this effort, helping people find this kind of transformation, to enjoy this experience at a low cost. We're not making available free, because even people who don't have a lot of finances need to invest something, but we want to keep that cost very, very low. So we need to have scholarships available for people who need the financial assistance to experience one of these. After I did this with a group of ladies first, I was left with two impressions in my heart. The first one was the need and scope of this. It's deeper than I had even emotionally understood prior to taking this first group of ladies through. It's a big deal. And God uses this kind of experience, not information, this kind of experience and connection to open hearts and do amazing transformative work. The other thing I was left with was understanding the need for follow-up even more. Now, as great as one of these weekends can be, the work isn't done in a weekend. And so when these deep and tender places are opened up in somebody's heart and life, we're offering follow-up for at least a period of time, one-on-one or perhaps in groups, where they can get some individual coaching, counseling help to kind of integrate this into their life and get some follow-up help for the places that were opened up in this intensive weekend. We also need scholarships to make those follow-up counseling sessions available at a very, very low cost. Jesus wants people to experience the transformation he has to bring. We have the tools to help them experience that. And I am asking you now to financially support us. I only come once or twice a year asking for your financial help. I'm coming now. You can go to drcarolministries.com/give. You'll see the link in the show notes and under this video. Be a part of making these services available to people who need them. You can go and make your gift there. It's tax deductible. If you make your gift recurring, it is awesome that we know we can count on your gift every month. Some of you may be able to sponsor an entire intensive weekend. That's between $10,000 and $15,000 is what the total cost for everything would be. Some of you may be able to do that. Some of you may be able to sponsor the follow-up for an individual. That would be $1,000. But there are so many other needs too. There's just the back end so that we can keep the infrastructure going to let people know about this and coordinate everything and the website and so on. Whatever gift you are able to make, just ask God what he would have you give. And we would welcome your financial support and thank you. Well, I pray that this window into my heart, my vision, and what God is opening for us to do at Dr. Carol Ministries has spoken to you. I would love to hear from you. You can use the contact page on our website to send me a confidential message. Leave a comment under this video if you're watching. And a final request. Wherever you are getting your podcasts, would you please leave a rating and review and tell somebody about it? If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed and tell somebody else about this, somebody who you know may need this kind of information, wrestling with sexuality, intimacy, and relationships in their life. God has an answer. And we are privileged to be part of God's answer to help people find the transformation he came to bring. My book, Sexpectations, Reframing Your Good and Not So Good Stories About God, Love, and Relationships, deals with these things. If you haven't gotten your copy, please do so and tell somebody else about it as well. And now, thank you so much for being with me here on this episode. And until next time, may God bless you.